Cities are rapidly becoming lawless, and this is a big concern for everyone. You came here for the truth, so let me unveil that for you in today's video. We are going to look at how people are beginning to squat in properties, how the economy has really been declining, and at the same time, we're being told that everything is a-okay. What do you think? Well, let's break it down here today. I want to show you this first. They're talking about a soft landing, right? You've heard that before. Well, what about Jerome Powell saying right here, he comments during the past week could point to the possibility of a no landing, where the economy is resilient while inflation stays on target. That's the suggestion anyway, but it depends on who you ask. If you go out onto the streets and you see parking lots full, you might see people shopping. They've got bags. They're doing well, seemingly. They're driving their BMWs around and everything is a-okay, but it's not exactly so straightforward. You see, people are in more debt than they've ever been. Historically, we've never seen anything like this before. And of course, at the same time, we have issues where some people are starting to take from their assets that they have. They're draining their home of equity so that they can live the life to keep up with the Kardashians as they want to. But there's a problem here because this is unsustainable. In fact, we've heard from many people suggest that the debt that the nations have are on an unsustainable path. We've already gone to the point of no return. But the same thing exists for the average person. This goes if you're making $30,000 a year or $100,000 a year, the circumstances are the same. People get a raise, what's the first thing they do? They go and spend it. People get some money somehow, what's the first thing they do? They go and spend it. It's not as if you work really hard, you achieved all of these goals, you got the jackpot, you got the home run, let's just say somehow you got the $1 million, and you went out and you said, I'm going to go on a vacation. You go on a vacation, you do something sensible with the rest. That's all good. But most people, what they do is they get a raise. Let's say it's an additional $1,000 a month. Guess what they're doing? They're spending another $1,000 a month. That's just the way people, in fact, they're spending $1,200 a month, $1,400 a month. They're going crazy. They're going wild. Not a good idea. Look, the bad economic times have only just started. Is Canada already in a recession? This was a little while ago. It was from last year. But the point is, what we can see here is like it depends on who you ask. It depends on the data that we choose to see. Don't count on a soft landing for the world economy. Turbulence is ahead. This is coming from Kenneth Rogoff. So, like I'm saying, it really depends on where we look. Is it Europe? Okay, which country in Europe? Okay, because Germany, I heard Germany is doing really well. They're doing really good. They got a lot of exports. They're doing good, right? Actually, no. They're doing terribly. Well, what about the United States? What about Australia? What about all these things? Each economy is different, but there's an issue here. When you increase interest rates, you run into a problem. I talked about that over a decade ago in my book, put it in black and white, and I was bang on. Not because I'm a soothsayer. I'll tell you now, it's not. It's because I am able to see the cycles. I've read so many of them. When you increase interest rates, the more debt that we're in, the higher you raise interest rates, the more of a burden it is, the more of an effect it has. And that's where we're at. Now you're seeing the stock market, that's different. That's a whole different circumstance. The economy, on the other hand, it is a real mixed bag. This is stealing. Channel 2 goes undercover as Instagram account lets you squat in metro homes. So they're going even further. Okay, a service has come up figuring out how you can get and begin to squat in different homes. They showed the example of a woman who just renovates her house. Then she gets deployed in the military. She comes back. A guy is living in her house and she can't get him out. He refuses to leave. And she goes to the cops, says, "Look, this guy's in my house. You got to get him to leave. Our hands are tied. It's a civil matter." I think that's what they said. And she was, of course, extremely upset, particularly about the fact that it was just brand new. And now you got some random guy living in her house. Can't even get him out. This is the thing that happens in a lawless environment. This is just talking about the houses. Like, look at this. Nice home. This is a nice home, and it was used by these squatters, and they set up, a business that definitely should not have been inside this home in a quiet neighborhood, but they're exploiting what we see now. There's all kinds of crime going on today. Shoplifting is so rampant. There's, everything from jewelry to clothing to shoes. I've seen it all. Apple store, the guy just walks into the store, just rips off all of the phones and iPads and everything, just rips them right off, walks right out, and doesn't seem like anything's being done about it. Why? Because the police, they take, depending on the city and so on, taking, let's just average that out, 20 minutes to respond to a crime. So what does a criminal do? They know they've got 20 minutes to do whatever they need to. Okay, that is a very big issue when people are in these circumstances where they know that things are just going to get worse. If you believed that the future would be better than you are today, well, then you would invest more, then you would plan more, then you would basically be in a better circumstance for yourself, for your family. But if you believed it was worse, well, then you stop investing, you stop caring, you stop taking, being nice as you did before. Things are degenerating. Do you feel that? Let me know. What do you think? Everybody hates locked up products. This company says it has a solution. So this is talking about the locked up products. You go to get the toilet paper. It's behind the, a lock and key. I need to get the Kleenex. Oh, behind lock and key. Yeah, I forgot. Toilet paper is valuable. Okay, everything is locked up. This company is just trying to create their own solution, which is more investment on the company. The company has to put more investment. So I've said before, we're going to see more of these companies or more businesses that you just go in, talk to the clerk, or there's not even a clerk. You just, maybe from your phone or whatever, stuff gets put inside of a locker for you, or like in a particular section, you go pick up your stuff. You've already paid for it online. Can't pay cashless? Sorry, don't want your business. That's where we're going. That's where we're going. The warehouse model. Amazon is like knee deep into this. Instacart is also getting in on this. So that's where it's going. You could say what you want, but this is happening right before our very eyes. Tech layoffs are hitting companies that are doing just fine. It's important to note the way that layoffs work. Usually, the first 5 to 10% of people are laid off. It could be at any time. But those are the people that are the lowest performers, least performing individuals. Once you go beyond that 10%, then things are starting to get a little iffy with the company. But there's always kind of a cycle, a churn that occurs inside of a company. Okay, they get rid of new people, or they freeze all the new hires, and then slowly people will quit so they can get rid of, reduce their headcounts by a certain amount, or they package people out. This is not uncommon. Beyond 10%, though, that's when you start to look at that. And that's an arbitrary number, I understand. But I'm just saying the first group is usually the non-performers. Just keep that in mind, okay? I worked at big companies. I know how it works, but it depends on it. Each one is different, okay? It depends on the industry as a whole. Is it a dying industry? Is it a growing industry? Quiet quitting is on the rise amid tech layoffs. So we're seeing this again. I thought this was going away. Apparently it's back. But here it is. Just looking at quiet quitting yet again. What does that mean? They're not exactly working, but they're showing up to get their money. You know what I mean? Okay. So that's happening today. When we look at the economy overall, it's something to just realize that there's a lot going on. People are unsatisfied. People believe they're not getting paid enough. You've got workers in California at fast food making $20 an hour. I remember back in the day, my first job making $6.40. It seems like just yesterday, but time flies. And just the point of that is that, at $20, it's kind of a lot of money, but at the same time, when you see, okay, but the rent for that person living in that area is just ridiculously expensive, well, then you could say, well, you can't really even afford that, even though $20 an hour is a significant sum. Today, with prices being the way they are, it just can't afford anything. That's why more and more people are living. They've got roommates. They've got generational homes. A lot has changed. This economy, all done, all intentional by what we've seen. And understand this. The devaluation of the currency, the central banks, the way they've done this from 2020 up until today, you will experience a much worse bout of that. It's coming. Be prepared for it. I'm telling you right now. You can't just buy the next Tesla and hope that that's going to turn it around for you and you're going to be okay. What I cover specifically is on my Sunday live session. You have to increase your income by 50% every year. 50%. Because number one, we got to make up for the shortfall that everybody's experiencing today, but we got to get ahead. That's what Sunday live class is all about. It's building a business. In the way that I do it is very different. Very different. Simplified. There's a strategy, but it's very different than what most people do. Most people talk about other gurus. Sunday live, themoneygps.com/live. Then check out what I wrote on that page about Sunday live sessions. I hope you join me there. And as always, hit that thumbs up button. Don't hit it once. Don't hit it twice. Hit it thrice. And I do appreciate that very much. I'll see you tomorrow.